Are you ready?
Take 3 Wrestling Podcast. It's Thursday, June the 19th. We are back for another exciting episode today. We have a full show ahead of you guys. Joe will be joining us momentarily as we've confirmed that he is not sleeping. Unlike
I understand that he sent a text, but I will only believe it when he actually joins the show.
I mean, you're not wrong.
I feel like I'm being fair with
that. So we do have a potentially chock full show. Got some topics set up for you guys. We're going to talk about Liv Morgan, the fallout of her injury, as it's kind of been announced that shoulder surgery will be required due to the injury that took place this past Monday. What may happen with the women's tag titles, what'll happen with what should have been her match at Evolution. Jim's got some games.
Yeah, I got a game.
I have a game that I'm actually actively working on while we're live right now.
Okay.
That should be a fun one. I will give you all the basis real quick and I'll double explain it because I know I'll have to when Joe gets here. $15 budget. WWE versus AEW Super Show.
Okay.
I will give you the match, and I will give you one for $5, $4, $3, $2, and $1. You pick one match from each category, and once someone picks it, the other person can't pick it.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So that'll be a fun one. I have to send Joe the link to the show because he lost it somehow, probably in the middle of a nap or something.
I mean, it's the same. It's the same.
He just said the one he tried took him to a non-live show.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah, I don't know. That's wild because we have the same hub every week.
Yeah, that's really weird. Okay. Weird.
So the 5 categories, you'll have a main event match, you'll have a mid-card match, a tag match, a women's match, and then a wild card match.
Okay. And is this for this week or a different? This would be for different.
No, I'm gonna do it right now. I'm gonna finish it up while we're talking. And we'll get this thing all the way live. And I love the fact that Joe has the exact same name as you in his.
I love that. I love that.
That's wow, that's smart men think alike.
That's unity.
I'm sorry, I'm wearing Captain America, so I thought Double Grande Americano.
That's fair.
Joe, so Jim has a game for us, and I am also currently finishing a game that you and Jim are going to play at some point on this show.
I love that. I have 2 thoughts before we go any further.
Okay.
Number 1, just follow me here, okay?
Nope.
What if
God was
El Grande Americano gets himself a friend, and that friend is like a 7'4" tall Nigerian dude in a mask, and he's El Vente Americano.
I thought you were going to make a joke about Omos.
No, obviously that's not Omos. It could never be Omos.
Right.
Under the mask.
El Vente Nigeriano.
I don't think I'm allowed to say that.
I don't think any of us are allowed to say that.
The second thing, real quick, because I meant to bring this up last week and then I slept.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been going through the T-shirts that I have in my closet.
Okay.
And I was moving closets around. John moved in, so I had to move my closet. And I came across a wrestling T-shirt that I don't think I could ever wear in public again, but I don't think I want to get rid of it. It's a real kind of dilemma right now. I'm feeling Kelly Rowland and Nelly right now.
Okay, which one?
Do you want to know what the shirt is?
Yeah,
it's the Mr. McMahon like Firefly Funhouse character shirt.
I have that.
Where he says that's such good shit.
Yeah.
It's a Mr. McMahon shirt. Like it's a Bray Wyatt shirt, but it's a Mr. McMahon shirt.
Mr. McMahon. That one you might still be okay.
Like when he starts his new company.
Yeah, well, that and also because like it's kind of making fun of Mr. McMahon.
I was gonna say I feel like it's a haha, not a.
But would you wear yours? Like, would you go to a wrestling show wearing yours?
I mean, I still have mine. I mean, I would break it out if I felt like
I'd go to a WWE show. I think the WWE crowd would recognize that it's a Bray Wyatt shirt.
Okay.
Funny haha, not funny like that chick just got shit on.
Yeah. Jesus.
So wait, okay. What's your most problematic wrestling T-shirt that you currently own? Who's got a Benoit shirt? Come on.
I don't think I actually own any that are problematic because I in the last couple of years it's weird. I don't know if it's just I just kind of grow tired of some T-shirts, so I actually cycle through T-shirts pretty quick.
Okay.
There's one, and I don't think I still have it, but it's one that I remember wearing that I loved, and I had both versions of it, and it's the Jack Swagger.
Oh yeah,
print and with the people. That one, especially for me in today's
fair.
Would absolutely, especially the blue one with the red hand. Like, that's a problematic. That's
fair.
That's one I couldn't wear anymore.
That's a good one.
Yeah, that's the first one that came to my mind.
What about you, Mike? Is it that Velveteen Dream shirt you have?
I definitely do not have one of those. Oh. Thank God. To be fair, I don't think I have a lot of really. I mean, the only one that you could possibly is if I ever wore the Suplex City Brock Lesnar shirt that I have. And
Lesnar's because tough right now.
And I think that's just because everybody associates him with the whole case. I don't.
Right.
I don't think.
Yeah, I think that'll pass. I think that will pass sooner than later.
So I mean, I have the same "That's Such Good Shit" shirt that you do. So I mean that one, I think is in the same breath as the Brock Lesnar one. But I mean, to be fair, up until we started going to WrestleManias, I didn't really buy a ton of WWE based wrestling shirts. I would buy some indie ones every once in a while when Ring of Honor would come to Manassas and to support those guys, but I really wasn't a big wrestling T-shirt guy.
So ironically enough, I just thought of one that I have, and it's not problematic in the sense that like offensive or like, and you know, anything questionable individual. However, and it's the one that I wore to WrestleMania Saturday last year. And it's the Monday Night Mommy shirt. And like it's one that I work remotely. So I wear t-shirts every day. It's one that I probably couldn't wear while working because I'm in video. And here's the thing, the people that I work with are phenomenal. My immediate team, they probably wouldn't care, but I also work in a team of all women, and I just don't want to have to try to explain that.
So wait, you're the only guy on your team?
Besides my boss, yeah. And so like
so you have to wear that t-shirt on like International Women's Day or something. Like you have to be like, me too, guys, me too. Well, maybe not. Maybe don't say me too. Wait.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't think that's
different verbiage.
Yeah. I'll come up with a better way to describe it, but yeah.
Also included, guys. Also included.
Also included.
Walk in, demand 35% pay decrease.
And it's the thing. Like, here's the thing. I could probably wear it, but I don't need to have to like explain, because like I remember one time after I'd been there for almost a year, I had popped into I was in the video, and another team member of mine came in, and it was described as a quote girl issue, and one of the other girls and the women on the team said, oh, you can talk about anything, James is cool. So like so like they I don't think anybody would have an issue with it. It's just one of the, you know what I mean? It's just like, I probably shouldn't wear that while working.
Yeah, no, that's valid. All right, what do we got?
Because of Joe having a hard out, I think we should probably start with his.
Which is the Okada Omega, right? Is that the one we were going to talk about last week but didn't?
Yeah, that's what I was going to do last week. And so I haven't watched AEW this week. I didn't have time for the 3-hour Lucha extravaganza. But the week before, the little bit of AEW that I saw mostly consisted of a hype video for Okada versus Omega. And it was mostly featuring clips from all their matches in New Japan and giving the history and stuff. And I get it. You got to build the history. You got to build the story. You have access to this New Japan footage. You might as well show it.
Sure.
All I kept thinking during that entire... Yeah, I felt it. All I kept thinking during that entire segment was, damn, they should not be running this match right now. And I just kept thinking, like, wow, they're showing so many incredible moments from these literally some of the best wrestling matches ever, if you know, depending on your opinion. A lot of people would argue that. Up there with your Flair Steamboats and matches like that. There's no way these two men are going to match any of those 4 matches in the middle of a 4-hour AEW show. It's just not going to match up quality-wise. And so I'm left really thinking to myself, and I want to know if you guys agree or not, maybe it's just a mistake for them to be running Okada versus Omega. Like, if you're not going to make it a main event, you're not going to give it the potential to be a 12-star classic and actually rival their other matches, maybe you shouldn't be doing it then. Like, that's just the thought that I had while watching it, and I want to know what you guys thought.
Yeah, it is kind of a complicated thing, because I can understand AEW's reasoning behind, you have the 2 titles that you want people to care about, and unifying them with 2 of the bigger names in your company and in the world. Like, I get that that's a big deal, and it kind of steals from like the WWE's idea a bit of like a main event can be anywhere on the card, even though like AEW is not booking it as a main event. It's still the logic behind a main event can be anywhere on the card. But it does kind of have that feel of being a little lesser than.
Yes.
Which, yeah, and I also, and I get it's indoors and they have a domed roof and everything, but like, you're not going to get away from the fact that this is taking place in the afternoon. This event is taking place in the afternoon. Like, an Omega Okada match feels like it should happen late into the event.
Yep.
At night, big environment. Yeah, I get it. You're trying to sell an event in Texas, and apparently they've opened up more seats, and it's going to be around 20,000, maybe more. I'm still curious how that's going to look in a stadium that's bigger than 20,000 people, but that'll be something we figure out in a couple of weeks. But yeah,
it's gonna look like those Nitro episodes where they curtained off half of the Georgia Dome.
Yeah, I mean, you're just gonna have to get very creative with how you shoot it and make sure your production team doesn't switch to the wrong camera, I guess. So yeah, I think if it can be a big match, but I do kind of have that vibe of it just feels almost a little lesser than for me.
How about you, Mike?
Here's my issue number one. It's not really an issue. This is the biggest show that they've done stateside. There is no better place to do this match than this show. You have to hit a home run in this show.
So wait, are you saying that, like, when you say biggest show they've done stateside, you mean like in terms of number of fans? Like they've never done more than 20,000 in the US?
They have gone on Dynamite, Collision, social media, and all you hear is the biggest show stateside.
Okay.
So if this is the biggest show that they're going to do so far, because the other times that they've done this show has been in England, you've now brought in this show back to the United States, and you got to go up with what you did in those two shows. You're basically going against those as well as your other events. There is no other place to do this match but here. The problem is 55,000 people, the 20,000 that are going to be there, and 30,000 internet people. The minute that this match isn't as good as the 4 matches that they had in New Japan that are going to shit all over it because it's not a 9-star classic in the fucking Tokyo Dome, that's the problem. Because here's what you guys are forgetting. Kenny Omega, completely different wrestler.
Yeah.
The diverticulitis has stopped 80% of the offense that he did 5 and 6 years ago when he put on those matches with Kazuchika Okada.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Okada's had his bicep put back together. He's had arm surgery left and right. He still does the Rainmaker. It's just a matter of time till he blows it out again. But he's a completely different wrestler now. He's a heel. Something that you really didn't see in those matches in New Japan. To me, this is Kenny Omega versus Kazuchika Okada 1. Because this is a whole new book. Because at this point, if you're going to compare what they did, which was 60, 60, 65, 85 and a half minute masterpieces that they did in Japan, they're not doing it 5 years older. But no. Tony Khan's not asking them to go out there and have a 65-minute match. He's going to go out there and ask them to have a 20 to 25-minute masterpiece. And the way that Kenny Omega is now, the way that Okada is now, the way that this whole injury thing with him leaving Kenny laying and bleeding and all of that stuff, this match is going to be 1,000% different than those matches in New Japan. And I think the true issue that I have is that too many people are going to say, it wasn't as good as Dominion. It wasn't as good as the 2 Wrestle Kingdom matches.
But I guess that's kind of my point. Because, right, like, listen, I'm not sitting here saying don't do Omega versus Okada. Like, don't ever have them wrestle each other. Obviously have them wrestle each other. And you're right. There's an obviously very strong case that you're positioning this as the biggest show in your company's history. You're going to have 2 guys who have a literally legendary feud with each other have a match on that show. You're right. That makes total sense. I think where I'm coming from, and it's kind of exactly what you're saying, is I feel like AEW is setting themselves up to kind of get negatively shit on. Because like you said, at the end of the day, it's not going to be like the 4 matches that they've had before. It can't be. They're different wrestlers now. They're in a different company now. They have different characters. And doing something, like you said, 5 years age, like even if they didn't go through the medical shit that they've each gone through, being 5 years older is a difference. I used to be able to run a mile about a minute quicker than I can now 5 years ago. Like that just is called reality. So you're absolutely right. Like they're not going to have the same match. They're going to have to do something different. I just feel like knowing that and knowing that the audience is already going to be looking back at those older matches and comparing it and possibly shitting on it, like I feel like AEW is just setting themselves up to get a lot of negative talk from this one. Like if the takeaway after what is supposed to be their biggest show of the year, if the takeaway online and from a lot of fans is fuck John Moxley and Omega and Okada didn't have anywhere near as good a match as they had 5 years ago 4 times, it's gonna be bad. It's gonna be a sad takeaway for what could otherwise be a really great show. That's just where I'm at, Because I also do feel that, and I know, like, I guess next week, or I don't know when All In is, like a week or so.
A couple of weeks.
July.
Yeah, July.
Okay.
Jim's birthday.
Oh, okay. So we'll get to previewing that show, but I almost feel the same way as like if John Moxley ends up beating Hangman Page. Like if John Moxley leaves that show still champion, most of the talk is going to be people shitting on the fact that John Moxley's still champion. It just feels like I don't necessarily understand what Tony Khan is doing with some of these decisions sometimes. Because I get it. You're trying to like make the fans happy. You're like, oh, the fans won Omega versus Okada. But you got to think further ahead, and you got to think to yourself, what if this ends up disappointing them? What if this ends up being something where they end up shitting on us as opposed to being like, hey, this was awesome?
Yeah, and that's kind of the reality.
I mean, I don't think Okada versus Kenny will be the thing that gets this show negative publicity, even if they don't have as good as matches. I think John Moxley walking out with the AEW World Title. I think Mercedes Moné defeating Toni Storm and adding another title to her collection would do more damage than this match not being as good as previous Okada versus Omega matches. I'm trying to bring the card up right now so I can just talk about other matches that I think could negatively impact the show just as much. They're going to do something with the Young Bucks. I guarantee you something along those lines. I'll tell you this much as someone who has been adamant about this point. If John Moxley wins and Darby Allin shows up to be the next contender, it'll get shit on because of that from me. I don't care if the show is the greatest wrestling show I've ever seen in my life. I will shit on it because now I have to live in a world where Darby Allin's going to take on John Moxley for the world title.
Yep.
I've been very adamant about that, and I will quadruple down
That's
on that
completely
right now.
valid. Yeah.
So I think if you take, I think truly the bigger issue here was the video package altogether.
Okay.
Wrestling fans know that history.
Yes,
they don't need to be reminded. They don't need to be reminded of that history 30 days before they're supposed to have a match. And then at the end of that video package, they watch one of the competitors get wheeled away because he got jumped by Okada and left bleeding because of his diverticulitis. I think if you basically tell your fans, hey, these guys are going to go out there, they're going to do this match again. They're going to go out there, they're going to have a fucking time of their lives. Who's going to win the rubber match? And I think you leave it at that. Fine. But you now have turn-by-turn navigation told me every step of the way of what this feud has been. This ain't that feud.
Right.
And that, I think that's the potential to harm them is if you don't remind me of that, I have to go to New Japan World. I have to go buy a subscription. I have to search the internet. I got to go find those matches if I really want to watch them.
Oh, for sure.
You've now hit me with the bullet points. You've hit me with this one was a draw, that one was a draw, that one Okada won, then they did a 2 out of 3 that Kenny won. So they're basically even. If you would have told me that they were 1-1 and 2 going into this match, I'd have been like, cool, rubber match, unification. These two guys are going to kick the shit out of each other. Let's go to work. Now you're telling me like these guys put on 60+ minute classics. These guys put on Dave Meltzer 5+ star ratings. Cool. So I'm going to see that match in Texas. I need to go buy a ticket for that. No, you might get a 5-star out of them. I'm not saying that you won't.
Right.
But if you're walking into All In, you're walking into Globe Life Park and you're like looking at the card and you see, okay, what are the 3 matches that I see here that are like going to steal the show? It's that one. It's John Moxley versus Hangman Page because there'll probably be something cool at the end. And let's say they do some random casino gauntlet battle royal at the beginning of the show where a mystery person could win a title shot, and that's when you think Darby Allin's coming back and you're a big Darby Allin guy. Whatever it is. Okay, so Darby wins, you're super excited. Then they put this match in the middle, and it's like, well, it was good.
Right.
It was like 3.5 stars. It wasn't the 7 stars they told me that it was going to be. The video package a month ago told me it was going to be. Oh, and then by the way, John Moxley also walked out with the title and shit all over the fucking company on the way out. Yeah, I'm out. That was a waste of fucking $200+ of a flight to Dallas, traveling XYZ. If that match is not, in my mind, 3.5 stars or better, and John Moxley walks out with the AEW World Title, there is going to be way too much negative blowback about multiple things on this show that aren't Kenny Omega versus Kazuchika Okada. And I think they're going to have to go into Damage Control for that. Now, Hangman Page, they have the moment, the fireworks, they open the fucking roof to the stadium and they fucking let him shoot a gun, whatever they do, cool. End scene. We don't remember that match was 3.5 stars because we finally get to see the AEW World Title again. We get to see what's next for John Moxley. What happens to the Death Riders? There's so many more questions that are coming out of this. Does Mercedes Moné have 14 titles instead of 10? Like what is next? I think if there's a show to do this, you're not main eventing with this match, so therefore you have an ability to almost go into Damage Control on the match wasn't good. But we're going to send him home happy because Hangman's going to walk out with the title.
Right.
Yeah, that has to end the show. Because that'll save everything.
Correct.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, here's the deal. WrestleMania 30. Nobody remembers that like WrestleMania 30 as a whole, kind of a clunker. You had like a 35-minute circle jerk with Austin Rock and Hogan. You had the longest Undertaker match of all time because he got concussed in minute 0. And you had Daniel Bryan ruling the night. But because the WrestleMania reigned, you don't remember that it was a 7-match card that kind of stank.
WrestleMania play button, arguably some people's favorite WrestleMania. The ladder match was good. Sting versus Triple H was an old man fest that fucking neither one of those guys could get it out of first gear. Undertaker wrestled in the middle of the fucking afternoon.
He sure did.
Against Bray Wyatt, no less.
We watched Rusev come out in a fucking tank and lose to John Cena. But you know what you remember? But you remember from that show? The Heist of the Century.
Yeah.
That's what you talk about. You don't talk about, hey, by the way, Mr. America, John Cena just beat a fucking tank.
You don't remember the Bellas versus AJ and Paige for no reason.
Yeah. There's a lot of hot ass that gets fucking hidden real quick. Yeah, I think that's the one positive of a 17-hour show.
But I will tell you, I'm not going to lie. I don't remember which WrestleMania it was, but I know there's a WrestleMania that happened not too long ago where there's an AJ Styles and Shinsuke Nakamura match that I was like, damn, this shit sucked compared to their New Japan matches.
34. It was the second one in New Orleans.
Okay. AJ, I was either 34 or 35. I couldn't remember, but I remember that match sucked.
All I remember from that show was Ronda Rousey and Kurt Angle versus Stephanie and Triple H.
Yes,
because that was the second. That was the second New Orleans because Shinsuke won the Royal Rumble.
Yes, with that one that we went to. No, we saw Rollins win.
Mm-hmm.
We saw
We saw Rollins
2019.
win. Yes,
Yeah.
I believe it was 30. I'm gonna look now because I'm 34.
It was 34.
It was 34.
Okay.
And that because that I remember that was AJ beat Shinsuke, then Braun Strowman and the Kid defeated Cesaro and Sheamus for the titles, and then Brock beat Roman in 15 minutes in the main event.
Right, and you want to know why you remember that one as being as bad as it is? Because the ending
Correct.
went over like a lead balloon.
Mm-hmm. And that's what I'm saying. You start remembering things that are memorable from that show. You remember that Asuka's undefeated streak lost to Charlotte Flair.
Oof. Yep.
In the second match of the pay-per-view. You remember Kurt Angle and Ronda Rousey defeating Triple H and Stephanie McMahon in a 20-minute mixed tag match that went 17 minutes too long.
Hey, be ready. I heard that might main event Evolution too. The rematch.
Jim, how much alcohol will you have?
Enough.
All right. That's all I need to know, bud. Because I swear to God, if that's the main event, 1 shot, 2 shot, 3 shot, 4 shot.
No, I'm kidding. You don't have to worry. They're not doing the show in Jihad, so Triple H isn't going to come wrestle.
Let's go, baby.
You guys want to move on to something else?
You got a game? I'm finishing mine now, and then I'll.
Yeah, so I just have a Chat GPT pro wrestling in the 2000s, this or that.
Ooh.
Okay.
All right, so we will start John Cena or Randy Orton. I will go Mike Joe.
I will take Big Match John.
For overall consistent quality during the 2000s, yeah, John Cena.
Yeah, I'll go Big Match John there as well. Triple H or Shawn Michaels?
Ooh.
Shockingly here, I'm going to take Triple H.
Okay.
See, this one's a rough one because, like, Triple H did a lot really good, but he also had that, like, 2005, like, Reign of Terror. That was some tough stuff to watch. That felt like it lasted 4 years, even though it was probably, like, 6 months. So, you know what? I'm going to take Shawn. I'm going to go ahead and take Shawn. He had some classic matches during this run. That's a Shawn.
I'm gonna go Triple H because also he had almost like a decade more time after Shawn Michaels hung it up and never wrestled again after his last match with The Undertaker. Ever. So yeah, I'll go Triple H for volume and quality as well. Edge or Christian?
Ooh.
Hot take here, Christian.
Really hot take here. Beth Phoenix.
I'm with Mike. I think it's Christian. I mean, Edge obviously was cut short. He came back. Christian came back, but like, man, the stuff he was doing in TNA was just spectacular. All right, Dead Man Undertaker or American Badass Undertaker?
Oh, I love this question.
And this is from the 2000s on.
It says, yeah, pro wrestling in the 2000s. So basically 2000.
I'll take American Badass, but if you take the whole arc and you add the first 11 years of Dead Man Taker, then I think that's where I swing.
Joe?
Nah, give me the American Badass. I love that shit. When he came out and it was like the leather arm sleeves and the rest of the jacket. Oh no, he had the long leather coat. I was thinking of Triple H for a second there, but yes, American Badass.
It'll always be Dead Man to me. I hated the American Badass. I'm like, this isn't my Undertaker. Get this. I don't know who this guy on a motorbike is. Just get him the fuck off my TV. WWE Kurt Angle or TNA Kurt Angle?
Perk Angle, baby. Give me old TNA Kurt.
You know, that is tough because like it's undeniable that Kurt Angle in TNA was amazing and much longer run there. Obviously, debatable whether or not it was good for his health, but obviously he did some incredible stuff there. I am gonna take WWE Kurt Angle though, because like those first few years of Kurt Angle, those like 99, 2000, 2001, like Kurt Angle was amazing in WWE. Honestly, like I don't know what his career would have been if he had stayed only in WWE, but his run was amazing as far as I'm concerned in WWE.
Yeah, I mean, obviously a great run everywhere. But TNA, I think Kurt Angle is bigger. Is his career did more in TNA? Batista or Brock Lesnar?
Like to shit on a chick or?
Man, this one's tough. This one's a lot tougher than because like
That's what she said.
You think of Brock Lesnar now and like the shitty human being that he is, but like,
did you say shitting human being that he is?
Yes, the shit flinging human being that he is. Oh God, I can't take Brock Lesnar. Batista because he didn't leave to go play in the NFL and UFC and shit on people.
Batista is definitely more versatile.
Yeah, it's tough because we know what has been alleged, and it's tough to overlook. I also think that his first return when he came back and F5 John Cena and went on that run, and then
Money in the Brock.
He beats the streak, and then he's reigning and defending in Suplex City and beatbox Brock and fucking Cowboy Brock. Going on wrestling alone, for me, this is Brock Lesnar. The extracurriculars aside, Dave Batista definitely better human being, but yeah, wrestling. Oh boy, thank you, Chat GPT, for the next one. Eddie Guerrero or Chris Benoit?
Oh God. I knew the minute
like,
you said that.
But are we deciding like who was the best wrestler or who did the best hangs?
Hold on, I got it. And there we go.
I feel it coming. There we go.
By Joe, do not reflect Mike or Jim or the Take 3 Wrestling Podcast. We're wrestling, pro wrestling in the 2000s.
Like this is one where you start thinking it's like, you hate to say it this way, but Eddie didn't feel like he was around long in the 2000s.
He was only around till like what, 05, 04?
04-ish, probably.
He passed away November 13th, 2005.
Yeah.
And I mean, we've watched a Ring of Honor show that took place in the early 2000s where he was there because he was suspended or fired for drug use. Yeah, I mean, we just watched that a couple weeks ago, and it's like you start thinking about that stuff, and it's like, man, and I'm gonna eventually just end up on Eddie because as much as I like to make Chris Benoit jokes, I don't know that I can actually pick Chris Benoit.
Remember the memes of the little kid, and it's like, "What's a Chris Benoit?"
No, thankfully I don't.
Really?
I don't.
Nope.
Yeah, I don't know that I.
Thankfully, I don't have any idea what you're talking about.
I will find it. Hold on.
Please don't. Please don't.
I mean, now I'm like, there's part of me that's curious because, because they've been mentioned, but, like, is anybody saying anything but Eddie Guerrero? So
no.
Okay. Yeah. It's Eddie.
No.
Lita or Trish Stratus?
I mean, Lita was like the one for me, so yeah, sign me up.
I always really super duper respected Trish Stratus for going from someone who had no wrestling experience whatsoever to literally being one of the best female wrestlers in WWE history. So yeah, I'm gonna take Trish.
Yeah, I mean, Lita was great, but this will always be Trish Stratus to me. This one should be pretty easy. The Rock in 2002 or Hollywood Rock?
Is cooking. Hollywood.
Yeah, same.
Booker T or Rey Mysterio?
I will. Ray's still wrestling. I mean, at least from a longevity standpoint, you have to give Ray the advantage there. And he also didn't get pinned at WrestleMania by Triple H, so I'll take the 619.
Yeah, so when I started watching ECW in like 1996, one of the reasons I kept watching ECW was for this little guy in a mask named Rey Mysterio, who was wrestling in ways I had never seen before. Rey Mysterio Jr. was his name. And yeah, no, that's absolutely Rey Mysterio Jr.
Yeah, Rey Mysterio for sure. Just a couple of more. Money in the Bank ladder match or Elimination Chamber?
Oh.
I will take Money in the Bank.
So, only reason I'm not going to take Money in the Bank is because you can do so many different variations of just ladder match. Like, it doesn't need to be Money in the Bank. Elimination Chamber is completely and utterly unique in and of itself. And honestly, one of the most fun new concept matches that has actually come out in the last like 25 years. Or how like it was 2001 2002 when that came out, right?
Yeah.
That was the first one. So yeah, like that, like for that alone, like Elimination Chamber.
Yeah, it's tough because, like, I mean, both matches have given us really spectacular moments. Both matches have become annual staples for the WWE. And while I love Money in the Bank and the opportunity that it presents itself, I think because the WWE's almost become a little lazy at times with how the Money in the Bank is executed. And maybe there is truth to the Triple H doesn't like it theory. I'll go Elimination Chamber, man, especially those early ones in the original Chamber.
Oh yeah.
Those matches were nuts. So give me the Chamber, but it's close.
I can't wait for the first tag team Money in the Bank.
They didn't do one?
They've done a tag team Elimination Chamber, but they haven't done a tag team Money in the Bank.
Yeah, there hasn't been yet.
Can't wait.
All right, next one. I have two more. WrestleMania X7 or WrestleMania 20?
17.
Easily, hands down 17.
Yeah. Yeah, that one's simple. And last one, the WCW ECW Alliance or the NWO reboot in WWE?
The Alliance.
What? Oh, what the fuck, Chat GPT? What is this question?
I'll take the Alliance.
Yeah, honestly, so I've gone back and watched a lot of 2001 WWF during that time. We all shit on that stuff so hardcore online during that time. Like I remember I was a message board person. I was on it was like the onewrestling.com message boards or whatever the hell it was. And I remember people would shit all over everything about the Alliance versus the WWF during that time. You look back at that stuff now, that shit was good. Like maybe the storylines didn't all 100% make sense, and maybe being at the time when it's like, oh, WCW is going to be here. Oh, it's none of the big popular guys. Like maybe you needed the hindsight now, where it's like, who gives a fuck that Ric Flair wasn't there? We know he shows up in 6 months. Who cares that Goldberg wasn't there? We know he shows up in 3 years. So like I feel like you can enjoy it more now, and some of the matches were great, honestly.
Yeah, I would need to check it out. Like it's hard for me to remember some of that, but
Go watch go watch the Kurt Angle, Steve Austin SummerSlam main event from 2001. The one where Jim Ross keeps calling that Kurt Angle is going commando all over Stone Cold because he clearly doesn't know what that means. That is one of the best wrestling matches of all time in my mind.
Kind of like the Cowboys owner in Glory Hole.
And then go watch the Steve Austin Appreciation Night episode of Raw, which might be the best episode of Raw of all time.
I think the hard thing with that era is when it was coming off of the Attitude Era, it was going to stink to people no matter what.
Yes.
It's, and here's the thing, I'm not saying this year's WrestleMania was good or great or an all-timer, but coming off of the 4 in a row that they've had coming out of the pandemic, you were gonna have a less than WrestleMania at some point. So like, if anything, rip the Band-Aid off, have a lesser than WrestleMania now, and guess what? It gives Vegas Part 2 a chance to have a redemption. Because at least you go into it thinking, well, it can't be worse than last year's.
You ain't wrong.
But
you ain't wrong.
All right, Mike, did you finalize your game?
I did. I finalized the game.
Okay.
Joe, I broke the news to Jim about the game before you joined us. Because we're talking about All In, we're getting ready to talk about Evolution and all of that for that specific weekend. I came up with you get a $15 budget. There is a main event, a mid card, a tag match, a women's match, and a wild card match. $5, $4, $3, $2, and $1 denominations. This will be done kind of like a draft where I'll let you and Jim pick.
Can you say like the match types, like you said, main event, mid card?
Main, mid, tag, women's, and wild card. Okay. Now the wild card match, I will give you guys this information, all have a stipulation of some point in them.
Okay.
You get $15 to spend. You must pick a match from each and only one match from each. So what I'll do is I will start with main event. We'll work our way down into the wild card fund. Once you draft your match, it comes off the board. Only one of you can have each specific match. Got to stay within your $15 budget.
Okay.
All right.
Yes.
So
I'm awake.
All right. Here are your main event matches. For $5, Roman Reigns versus Kenny Omega. For $4, John Cena versus Kazuchika Okada. For $3, Seth Rollins versus Jon Moxley. $2, LA Knight versus Chris Jericho. And for $1, Logan Paul versus Adam Hangman Page. Jim, you get the first pick this round.
Who was Okada against? I'm sorry.
Big Match John.
Ooh. Okay. I'm gonna go Seth versus Mox for $3.
Okay, let me write that down. So Jim goes
But
Seth.
that's the one I wanted.
Sucks to suck.
No, it doesn't. Trust me.
Oh, I walked right into that.
You set yourself up for that one, bud.
Yep, I can't even be upset about it.
All right, Joe, your main event selection.
I guess I'm taking Okada Cena.
Dang, nobody wanted the Kenny Omega Roman Reigns masterpiece.
Now I've already seen Roman Reigns fight somebody with diverticulitis.
You're not wrong. Hold on,
I've seen them wrestle like many times, as a matter of fact.
All right, so Joe takes Cena and Okada for 4. For the record here, my pick, because I'll pick at the end because you guys get the ones because you guys are actually trying to hammer the budget out. I'm gonna go Logan Paul versus Adam Hangman Page, Battle of the Buckshot Lariats.
Nice.
I thought that was a fun one to put in there for $1. Joe, you get the first pick out of the mid cards. The mid cards go as
No
following.
whammy, no whammy, no whammy.
The $5 match is Randy Orton versus Will Ospreay. The $4 match is Cody Rhodes versus Maxwell Jacob Friedman. The $3 match is Sheamus versus Josh Alexander. The $2 match is AJ Styles versus Darby Allin. And the $1 match, Aleister Black versus Brody King in a battle of the House of Black.
What was the $4 one?
MJF Cody Rhodes.
Yeah, fuck it. I'm gonna take that one.
All right, so Joe takes MJF and Cody for $4. So Joe has $7 left for 3 matches.
Ooh. It's a lot of money for it, but give me Orton versus Ospreay.
All right, so you both have $7 remaining for your matches. You both have spent $8 through 2 rounds.
That's fine, because you know who else had $7? Dwayne the Rock Johnson.
It's true.
I'm gonna take, because again, I'll pick the scraps. I'll take Darby Allin versus AJ Styles as a match. The tag title, or the tag match, not tag titles. You get what I'm saying. The $5 match is Jimmy and Jey Uso versus Matthew and Nicholas Jackson. $4, the Motor City Machine Guns versus the Hurt Syndicate. $3, tugging at the heartstrings of all of you NXT fans, DIY versus FTR. $2, the New Day versus Private Party. And for $1, the Sons of Texas, Dustin Rhodes and Sammy Guevara versus the Street Profits. Jim, you get the first pick this round.
Okay.
You got this, buddy.
Oh well, this is going to be my budget match. Because I don't want to end up having to take back-to-back $1 matches. So I'm going to take a $1 match now and give me the Sons of Texas versus the Profits.
All right, Joe.
Okay, so wait, what's my card so far?
Cena, Okada, MJF, Cody Rhodes.
All right, well, fuck it. Because I do still believe in inclusion. So give me the $2 match.
All right, so New Day Private Party. All right. This is where tugging at the heartstrings. I'll take DIY versus FTR. I can watch those two teams wrestle fucking 7,000
No, I
matches
honestly the only reason I didn't take that match is because I didn't want to book like Triple H.
Makes
That's
sense.
fair.
All right, our women's match for $5: Io Sky versus All Belts Monet.
Okay.
$4: Tiffany Stratton versus Timeless Tony Storm. For $3: Charlotte Flair versus Chris Statlander. $2: Becky Lynch versus Jamie Hayter. And for $1, Bailey versus Sky Blue. Joe, you have the first pick of the women's.
How many matches are left?
2.
Including this one.
This and one more.
Okay. And I have $5 left.
Correct.
So what was the $3 match?
Charlotte Flair, Chris Statlander.
That's a little weird. What's the $4 match?
Tiffy versus Tony.
And what was the $1 match?
Bailey versus Sky Blue.
No. And the $2 match. See, the $2 match, my problem with it would be if I was in the audience, I'd have no idea which girl was which.
That's kind of why I did it.
You know what? Let's go with the $2 match.
Damn.
All right. Becky versus Hater for $2. So that leaves Joe a total of $3 remaining.
Money. Yeah.
So I don't want to go with the $5 match because I don't want to pigeonhole myself to just the $1 in the stipulation.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. Same reason I don't want to do the $4.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to book a Charlotte Flair match.
I knew it was coming.
So, in a match that, well, I say all, but respectful to Joe, most of us are the real winners. Give me Miss Bam versus Sky Blue.
If you
choice.
told me, gun to my head, describe what Sky Blue looks like, I could not.
Yeah, I don't think I could either. If we're being, but I would.
I'll take Tiffany Stratton, Tony Storm with my the $4 match because I
That's
have
a good one.
And finally, the wild card. Each of these match has a stipulation. Okay. Joe has $3 left. Jim's got 5. Jim has the first pick, and I want to see if Jim's going to be an asshole here. So let me read the matches off before I decide if he's going to be a dick or not. Number 5, Jacob Fatu versus Samoa Joe in a last man standing match.
Okay, hold on. Jacob.
You mean a last Samoan standing match?
Last man standing. Okay.
$4, CM Punk versus Jungle Man, Texas Death Match.
I hope they use real glass.
Teja Death Match. Okay.
For $3, Jim's favorite AEW luchador, Hologram.
Oh, God in heaven.
Versus El Grande Americano, Mask versus Mask. Our $2 option, I'm going to pull somebody off of injured reserve. This is going to be peak Kevin Owens versus Adam Cole in a Panama Sunrise ladder match.
Ooh.
And for $1, Austin Theory versus Hook. The winner gets to go on a date with Joe Lopez.
Oh. I don't even need a full date. I'll take 20 minutes.
Wait, Theory versus who?
Hook.
Oh, boy.
Send them both. Bet y'all didn't know that match could end in a draw, and they both have to do it. What? It's an Eiffel Tower match.
Oh my god. So if I pick this match, the stipulation stays, right?
Yeah. That's why I said, is Jim going to be a...
I mean, I could be, but then he still gets the date, though.
Correct.
Because that's all he really wants. He doesn't care about the match.
Oh, he gives no shits who wins.
He wins.
I'm telling you, it's a draw.
I'm telling you, yeah, he wins.
No, he only gets if the match ends in a draw, he can't. He doesn't get both. He's gonna get one of them and one of them.
Gotta get one. There has to be a fall to.
Has to be a winner.
Damn.
Oh man.
I almost did a Joe Lopez on a forklift match, but I chose to do winner goes on a date instead because
I'm more Tad Hamilton than I am Judy Bagwell.
Well, I almost did Shark Gauge too, but I was afraid that you would contemplate throwing up in it because of you're afraid of swinging.
Yeah, no, that wouldn't work. That wouldn't work for me, dog.
Just because I want to see how it actually plays out. Give me Punk versus Jungle Jack in the Tejas death match.
Joe, I can probably guess what you're
taking. Yeah. I have $3. Can I book that match 3 times?
No.
Ratsy.
4, 7, 8, 9, 10. I have $5 left. Yeah, give me the Battle of Samoa. Give me the Werewolf versus Samoa Joe. Honestly, if I could have found another luchador that I actually like that wears a mask inside of AEW, I would have put him versus El Grande Americano, but I remember
Jim's. What's his name? Kaleidoscope.
Oh, you mean Commander?
Yes.
Pass.
Oh, what about the other one with Bandito?
I think of it more of Ring of Honor than I do AEW.
See.
So, all right, our final match cards. Jim has Seth versus John Moxley, Randy Orton, Will Ospreay, the Street Profits versus the Sons of Texas, Bayley versus Sky Blue, Jack Perry and CM Punk in a Texas death match, Joe, Cena versus Okada, Cody versus MJF, Private Party versus The New Day, Becky versus Jamie Hayter, Austin Theory versus Hook, and a winner gets to go on a date with Joe. Mine, I have Logan Paul, Hangman Page, Battle of the Buckshot, AJ Styles, Darby Allin, DIY FTR, Tiffany Stratton, Tony Storm, and the last man standing match between the Samoans. So that was a fun little game that I came up with in I
like
35 minutes. I might do it again. Fun. I might do it again and just go full centric on a different time period, but we'll put that in the memory bank for another episode.
I wouldn't mind winning a date with 1993 Shawn Michaels.
I'll see if I can book that for you, bud. See what I can get written up.
I wouldn't mind winning a date with Bayley versus Sky Blue, but I didn't.
Well, none of the women's matches had stipulations.
Well, think about that next time.
I got you. Say less, fam.
Now, Joe, you're out? It is midnight.
Yeah, I should probably get out of it. You guys. No, I didn't watch any wrestling this week. I'd be useless for Wrestlers of the Week anyway.
Well, we still have the Liv Morgan stuff. Do you want to say anything before you go about Liv being out?
I genuinely hope she comes back soon. For a very long time, especially on this show, I was a very big critic of Liv Morgan. I didn't get her. I didn't think she was all that great. And then she came back from her first injury and shut me the fuck up, because she has been absolutely one of the best female wrestlers, period, since then, and been so consistent. And it really was exciting to see so many big things happening for her right now. I know she's in a movie, and then they had literally 3 different storylines being built around her going into SummerSlam and Evolution, and it kind of sucks that now she's going to be out for 6 months. The one thing I'll say I kind of hope, and this look okay. Let's go back to the Attitude Era, right? Steve Austin, hottest that he ever was, breaks his neck, still shows up on TV every single week, just in a different role. But to still be there and still be agitating and still be getting people talking about him, right? I think if there's ever been another wrestler at a time where they're injured, where maybe them being there still, if they can, would be beneficial, it's Liv Morgan right now. You know, like you could have her out there in Roxanne Perez's corner for 6 months. You could have her out there in Raquel Rodriguez's corner for 6 months, or do it for 3 months, and then if she's able to like at least take like half a bump, do something where they take her out, and then she can come back 3 months after that, and go after both of them, or like there's room to keep her relevant, and she has the talent to make it work. She's great on the mic. She's great as a character. She honestly, anytime she shows up during Raw, it's usually a peak moment on the show. So I feel like it would be smart for them, as long as it doesn't get in the way of her recovery or like whatever. But it would be smart of them to keep her relevant. She's a part of Judgment Day. You can have her in people's corners. You can have her. You can do stuff with her. Put her on commentary, like something. But I think you want to have her around.
Yeah, I think once, if she has to have surgery or whatever, as soon as she can get her back on TV, I agree with that. I think it's a great idea. Yeah, I was kind of like, here's the thing. I in a way I was kind of like you, Joe. She always felt like she was missing something.
Yes.
Previously, but yeah, I think in this new role, I think she has been absolutely killing it. She's been fantastic. So yeah, 100%. I hope she comes back and continues to thrive. But yeah, if you want to bounce now, because I mean, I actually have a very simple idea of what I think should be done with the women's tag titles as it pertains to Evolution and whatnot. But
yeah, you know what? I will check out the podcast and hear it later.
Perfect. All right, see you, Joe.
Thank you. See you guys. Bye.
Later, bud.
Before I get to what I would do with it, just Mike, your thoughts on the injury.
Well, obviously the injury couldn't come at a worse time. Yeah. Joe mentioned, all the stuff that she had going on. Inevitably, she would probably have to take some time off to start publicizing the movie that she's a part of. Mm-hmm. And to lose a performer who has been as integral to the Raw brand as she's been for the last 360-ish days is not good. It's a painful step that they're going to have to try to figure out what they do next with a lot of different things. Not just the women's tag titles, but she was kind of setting up some other things, and she was this whole thing with Io with the title and all of that. So those are things that we're going to have to kind of now take a step back, and the Judgment Day stuff was going to get ready, I think, to intensify itself to another level. Between, is Finn and JD going to break off, and Roxanne going to be their third member, and you're going to leave Dom and Liv together with Raquel? So I think that's some things they're going to have to pivot and change. I was reading PW Mania earlier today. The injury, 6 months, probably going to have some major changes to what's going to happen in the summer. She's going to miss SummerSlam in her home state of technically New Jersey. Dave Meltzer confirmed that Nikki Bella was backstage at Raw on Monday night. She was supposed to go out after the match and have like a run-in and continue building to the next step of that match. Obviously, that got scrapped when they found out that Liv was severely injured, because the match was abruptly ended. So she was there, was supposed to set stuff up. Now she's out 6 months, and now you have other ideas. Meltzer also said no new creative meetings have happened since the injury, so no idea what the moves are. Basically, they said obviously the match at Evolution is off the table, but they haven't finalized any revised plans. Obviously, it was Roxanne. It was Raquel and Liv probably versus the Bella Twins for the titles. You could throw Roxanne in there and have her step in and defend them, or you could vacate them and do something completely different to get more women on the show. I mean, all of those are thought processes that could happen. This is it's unfortunate for Liv. It's unfortunate that she's going to miss as much time as she's going to miss, and that's very upsetting. Um, but I'm also going to say that I feel bad for Raquel Rodriguez, who could now kind of go from having a high profile match to just being included or not even being on the show altogether now. Um, Obviously, I'm very happy that Liv's come out and said, and multiple members of the media have come out and said, obviously the Kyrie shouldn't be blamed for this, because that's
Oh
some
yeah.
things that some people still want to sit here and want to do that shit, and it's a freak accident. It's an unfortunate accident, and I think that's what people got to remember is at the end of the day, an accident is what caused this to happen. Nothing malicious, nothing
Yeah.
out of the ordinary, etc. It sucks. Obviously, none of us want to see anybody get hurt, especially someone who's getting ready to probably have the summer of their career. So it sucks. But we're gonna try to figure out what's next for the women's division. I know Jim said he's got a kind of quick, fast, and easy way to do something with the women's tag titles. So where are we at with that?
Yeah, I think it's easy. The tag titles, because I think everybody's first thought is going to be, we'll just vacate them and do a tournament. No, you have 3 women in Judgment Day. You now have 2 active women in Judgment Day. You invoke the Freebirds rule. Raquel and Roxanne defend the titles, and you can have Raquel and or Roxanne confront Nikki Bella and be like, you were going after our sister in the Judgment Day, and we're gonna stand up for her even though she's out injured right now. Nikki's gonna be like, oh, where can I find a partner to, who's gonna stick up for me? Maybe I'll pick Natty, or maybe I'll pick so and so from the back that I have a ton of respect for. And then Brie Bella's music hits. Bella Twins, new tag champs. Simple, easy, book it, do it. Make people care about the women's tag titles even for a short period of time.
Yeah, because they don't have to keep them long.
Drop them at SummerSlam.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's easy.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I think there's plenty of easy ways for them to go about doing something with the tag titles. If the inevitable goal was to get the titles onto the Bella Twins anyways, I think the Raquel and Roxanne thing makes a lot of sense. Now, you want to add extra teams to the mix and you want to make it a fatal 4-way or something like that. Now that Liv's out, I think you could pivot that way a little bit, get some more women on the show, et cetera, et cetera. So that's something that could happen. I'll also say, when it comes to, I feel like she was going to play a pivotal role in something at SummerSlam. I don't know what it was. I don't know that it was going to be for the women's title. I don't know that it would have been her versus Io. It felt like that's kind of what they were going to try to build to, especially if they were dropping the tag titles to the Bella Twins at Evolution. Especially being in her own home, in her hometown. That kind of is a real bump in the road. I'm kind of intrigued to see what they do with that title now. I know what my personal hope is, and that it's Stephanie Vacour versus Io Sky now at SummerSlam for the women's title. You keep Rhea out of it until the inevitable match she's going to have in Australia, because they're going to let her fight for the title in her home country. That feels very obvious. But the live stuff, I think it's as a wrestling fan, it hurts, because it's like, we're going to sit through a Bill Goldberg retirement match in a month.
Bill Goldberg.
And he's going to get that moment in his home with his friends, with his family, and all of that. And we're painfully going to sit through what I pray to God is only about a 4.5-minute match. And I really pray to God it isn't Gunther losing the title and then Goldberg vacating it 2 nights later on Monday Night Raw.
Bill Goldberg.
It gets me every time. But that being said, I hurt more for Liv that she was going to have some of the biggest matches of her career. And now those opportunities may not come back.
Yeah.
I get it. She's young. She's on the right side of the clock. But, and this is not trying to be that guy, but this is a little different of an equation when you look at men professional wrestler and female professional wrestlers.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Because if Liv does want to start a family at some point in her life, that's perfect example. Alexa Bliss was out almost 2 years.
Yeah.
Carmella never came back. She got pregnant again. Then she was let go. If this is an equation that she inevitably is going to potentially pursue, and we don't know if that's the case or not. I'm using devil's advocate here. You could use Rhea Ripley as the same example because she's married to Buddy Matthews now.
Right.
The right side of 40 and the wrong side of 40 feels like the right and the wrong side of 20 and 30s to women's wrestlers, at least in my own head.
Sure. Yeah. No. I know what you mean.
So it's unfortunate that she's going to miss at least 6 months. I mean, maybe Survivor Series in San Diego, she comes back, and maybe that's the return. I mean, you're looking at it right now. I don't even know that that's in play. That's only 4 months down the road. You're looking at Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
And I think that's the unfortunate part.
It is.
There's no real, obviously not seeing and knowing what's exactly happened yet, because Monday Night Raw, and then we haven't really had a show since then. We've kind of been sitting here speculating, and we'll know more coming this Monday. But this just feels like she was going to have a really, really, really big to do on Evolution. She was going to be involved in that Bellas match. She was probably going to be involved in something big at SummerSlam, and now both of those are unfortunately gone, and for nothing more than an accident.
Yeah,
it sucks.
Yeah, definitely blows for sure.
I'm trying to see if there's any other news before anything else on her being dinged up or anything like that. Bully Ray said something. Because he does have his own wrestling school. Quote, when you sign a wrestling contract, there is a verbiage is even in the contract of a good wrestling school. It basically says anything can happen in the ring, from a hangnail to death, because what we do is very dangerous. And sometimes on the most simple things, like we saw last night, something can go wrong. Liv didn't do anything wrong. She fell forward. She put her hands out in front of her to protect her fall, whether she does it because she's trained to or not, and it's just instinctually. She put her arms up, her elbow hit a certain way where it just kind of shimmied out and shot right up into her shoulder, dislocating it. It happens. It can happen to anybody. It can happen to the biggest stars in the world, to the first date indie guy. You know?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, it's just an unfortunate accident. Like yeah, it's a bummer.
yes, it is. We have anything else on the live stuff?
No, I'm good on that.
All right. Well, Joe's not here for Wrestlers of the Week, so we'll take 3 each, I guess.
Yeah, it works.
All right. Update on the fantasy wrestling. Joe still hasn't made a roster move yet for this week's ad drop. So if he's listening to this early in the morning, you have until I wake up, and then I'm gonna make a roster move because I got to get that thing moving because I have to work tomorrow night. I am currently leading the way. I believe the appropriate word is boat racing. Everybody else,
Yeah,
I'm up 144 to 72. Tim has 72. He had a negative 5-point week this week.
ooh, okay.
You had like a 14-point week. You're 62 points. Joe's at an abysmal 51.
Nice. All right, at least I'm back in the running for possibly second place.
You could catch him for second real quick. He's got some.
Problem is, I
some
don't
guys
know.
in
Like,
there.
nothing's been really announced for stuff happening this week.
It's okay. So looking at Cage Match, it's the semifinals of the Queen and King of the Ring.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. AEW hasn't announced anything for Collision. The move I made was just to get my roster back on track, which I need to have it at. But yeah, nothing's been announced for any company so far. So we're all just shooting blankly into the fucking night.
Yeah, I mean, unless you're picking like Asuka or Jade Cargill.
Right, you're taking who you think's going to win these semifinal matches, and that's it.
And the funny thing is you can't pick the men's semifinals because
they're already picked.
Joe's got Cody and I have Jey Uso.
Yeah.
You could take Pam if you think that Becky's already going to lose the title, but I don't think that's going to happen personally. So I think that's the stayaway.com play of the night there. Is there anything on NXT announced yet?
Nope.
Is there a good old fashioned what the fuck? Hold on.
What?
How the fuck do we already have Night of Champions before fucking All In? That shows the 28th.
Yeah. Yeah, it's next weekend.
Fucking Christ. I guess we're previewing that next week.
Sure are.
Fuck. All right. I'll let you go first for Wrestlers of the Week.
New CMLL Women's Champion Mercedes Moné.
CEO. Fucking just winning titles like it's going out of style.
6. She has 6 now.
6 title belts. That's what I'll put in the. I'm gonna take the guy who retained the IWGP Heavyweight title at their latest show, Hiroki Goto.
All right. Give me Asuka. She returns to WWE and advances and qualifies into the Queen of the Ring.
I can't spell.
Asuka.
I couldn't spell quarterfinals. I was putting an E somewhere that shouldn't have been there. I'm gonna take Gabe Kidd. He defeated Yota Tsuji to win the Never title.
Yeah, that was one of my shot in the dark picks from last week. I was like, maybe this will happen.
I think it was the Never title. I don't know. It may have been a different title.
I think so. And last one, again, another advance in the Queen of the Ring. My girl, Alexa Bliss.
Alexa. The finish to that was I liked the finish to that. Did you see the finish to that match?
Yeah, it was fun.
I like that Charlotte had Alba in the figure 8 and the roll up to win it for Alexa with Sister Abigail. Last but certainly not least for me, I will take the man who is going to try to win the King of the Ring to get back his title. Give me 4 letters, 1 word. Yeet. Yeet. I'll take Jey Uso. He won his quarterfinal match. Setting up the American Yeet Mares, the Yeet Carrion Nightmares, whatever you want to call that tag team. But yeah, they're going to come to blows. Part of me thinks that neither one of them is going to actually have a shot at winning that match because I feel like Seth Rollins' crew is going to cause a double disqualification. But watch Monday Night Raw and see if I'm wrong. You can.
Somebody proposed an interesting theory as the music starts to play. In these last couple interactions, Cody and Seth have never gotten physical with each other.
So, like, Cody's going to be a part of the group?
Take that as you will.
Oh, God, why?
I don't think you will. But
I mean, if he's going to go heel, he needs to go be heel away from them.
Just be heel.
Stay on SmackDown, get away from Heyman and those guys, and just go be a heel. Just doesn't feel. Ugh. You can listen to Joe talk about movies, Joe Movie Podcast, all one word. Jim?
At Big Jim Sports, Twitter, Blue Sky, hit my link tree. Everything's there. I'm way too fucking tired to plug each individual thing. So yeah, just do that.
You can listen to me inevitably talk about sports on Huddle Up, which you can find in Jim's link tree. You can listen to no, I haven't done any other shows. I got nothing. I got 5 letters, 1 word. Sleep. Until next week, for Joe and Jim, I'm Mike. We will see you on the Take 3 Wrestling Podcast.